What if I told you that the biggest YouTube mystery of the 2010s just got solved in the most unexpected way possible? Connor Franta just confirmed what millions of fans suspected for nearly a decade, and the internet is absolutely losing its mind. We're talking about a relationship that shaped an entire generation of LGBTQ plus youth, inspired countless fan theories, and left us all wondering what really happened between two of YouTube's biggest stars. Today, we're diving deep into the Tronnor saga that just got the closure nobody saw coming. You might be wondering how a simple Instagram photo featuring Chappell Roan could unravel one of YouTube's most guarded secrets. Well, buckle up because this story has more twists than a soap opera, and the ending is going to hit you right in the feels. From secret relationships to cryptic song lyrics, from years of silence to a beautiful moment of healing, this is the story that proves sometimes real life is better than any fan fiction ever written. Connor Franta and Troye Sivan didn't just date for 2 years during YouTube's golden era. They created a love story that became the foundation for an entire fandom. And now, 10 years later, we finally have the truth. But before we get to the bombshell confirmation that's making everyone cry happy tears, we need to go back to where it all began. Picture this. It's 2014 and YouTube is an entirely different universe. This isn't the corporate, algorithm-driven platform we know today. This was the Wild West of content creation, where teenagers could become millionaires overnight, and authenticity actually mattered. At the center of this digital revolution was Our Second Life, better known as O2L, a collaborative channel that featured 6 young creators who were basically the boy band of YouTube. Connor Franta was one of these rising stars. Known for his artistic eye, coffee obsession, and the kind of vulnerability that made millions of viewers feel less alone. His content wasn't just entertaining, it was deeply personal, addressing mental health, identity, and the struggles of growing up in the public eye. Meanwhile, across the globe in Australia, a young singer named Troye Sivan was building his own empire, transitioning from acting to music while capturing hearts with his incredible voice and magnetic personality. When these two worlds collided, something magical happened. Their first collaboration videos felt different from typical YouTube partnerships. There was an ease between them, a natural chemistry that couldn't be manufactured or scripted. Connor would appear in Troy's vlogs looking completely comfortable, and Troye would feature in Connor's content with the kind of familiarity usually reserved for close friends or something more. The Tronnor shipping began almost immediately. Fans started noticing everything: the way they looked at each other during collaborations, how they'd appear in each other's social media posts, and the subtle intimacy that seemed to exist beyond friendship. These weren't casual observers either. These were devoted fans who analyzed every frame, every tweet, every Instagram story with the dedication of forensic investigators. What made the speculation even more intense was the timing. Both Connor and Troye were navigating their coming out journeys during this period. Connor had come out as gay in 2014, and Troye would follow in 2013. For many young LGBTQ plus viewers, seeing these two openly gay creators who seemed so happy together represented hope and possibility. They weren't just shipping two random YouTubers, they were investing in a representation that felt revolutionary at the time. The evidence that fans collected was honestly impressive in its thoroughness. They documented every shared location, every similar caption, every coordinated outfit or accessory. There were screenshots of late-night Twitter interactions, analysis of body language in group photos, and frame-by-frame breakdowns of videos looking for signs of their relationship. The dedication was both heartwarming and slightly terrifying. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence was their consistent support for each other's projects. When Troye released music, Connor would promote it with the enthusiasm of someone personally invested in its success. When Connor launched new ventures, Troye would be among the first to share and celebrate. This wasn't typical influencer support. This felt personal and genuine in a way that made fans even more convinced something deeper was happening. But perhaps the most telling sign was how they seemed to exist in their own little bubble during public appearances. At events and gatherings, they'd gravitate toward each other naturally, sharing inside jokes and private conversations that made everyone else feel like they were witnessing something special. Other creators began making jokes about their obvious connection, and industry insiders would hint at their relationship without ever explicitly confirming anything. The turning point came when fans started noticing a shift. Gradually, the collaborations became less frequent. The social media interactions grew more distant. By 2016, Tronnor content had essentially disappeared, leaving fans confused and heartbroken. Neither creator addressed the change directly, which only fueled more speculation about what had gone wrong between them. This was when the theories really went into overdrive. Some fans believed they'd had a falling out over business decisions. Others suspected that the pressure of public scrutiny had become too much for the relationship. The most heartbreaking theory was that they'd simply grown apart as they both focused on building their individual careers and personal lives. During this period of distance, both Connor and Troye continued thriving professionally. Connor expanded into podcasting, writing, and business ventures while maintaining his authentic connection with his audience. Troye's music career exploded globally, with hits that established him as a major pop artist. But fans never stopped wondering about what had happened to their friendship and whether there had ever been something romantic between them. The silence continued for years, and honestly, most fans had accepted that we'd never get answers. The speculation became part of YouTube folklore, a mystery that defined an era but seemed destined to remain unsolved. Both creators had moved on with their lives, found happiness in new relationships, and built successful careers independent of each other. But then Troye started releasing music that felt deeply personal in a way that reignited all the old theories. His album Blue Neighborhood included a song called For Him that many interpreted as being about a past relationship with someone who had significantly impacted his life. The lyrics were emotional and vulnerable, describing a connection that had shaped him as a person. The real bombshell came with The Good Side, a song that felt like the missing piece of the Tronnor puzzle. Released in 2018, the track was a mature reflection on a past relationship, where the narrator acknowledges coming out better than their former partner. The lyrics were specific enough to feel autobiographical, but vague enough to maintain plausible deniability. Fans immediately connected the dots. The timeline matched perfectly with the Tronnor era, and certain lyrics seemed to reference specific moments and inside jokes that only someone who had been close to Connor would know. Lines about leaving someone with both of the rings and getting the good side of things felt like direct commentary on the relationship and its aftermath. What made the song even more compelling was how it portrayed both sides of the breakup with empathy and maturity. There was no bitterness or blame, just an honest acknowledgement that sometimes relationships end with one person in a better place than the other. This emotional intelligence resonated with listeners and made the song feel authentic rather than vindictive. For years, The Good Side existed as this beautiful piece of music that fans were convinced was about Connor, but without any official confirmation, it remained in the realm of speculation. Troye never explicitly confirmed or denied the connection, and Connor had remained completely silent about the song and its potential meaning. Fast forward to 2024, and Connor dropped a bombshell during a podcast appearance that reignited all the old theories. While discussing his discovery of Chappell Roan years before her mainstream success, he casually mentioned finding her music with my ex and how they had both recognized her star potential immediately. Fans went absolutely feral trying to figure out who this mysterious ex could be. Given the timeline and Connor's dating history, all signs pointed to Troye. There was even photographic evidence, an old picture of Connor, Troye, and Chappell Roan together from her early days when she went by Casey Rose, which seemed to confirm that these two had indeed discovered her music together. The speculation reached fever pitch when old tweets resurfaced showing both Connor and Troye promoting Chappell's early music with identical enthusiasm and similar language. Troye had tweeted about having her song on repeat for months, while Connor had called her a vocally blessed goddess. The coordination and timing felt too perfect to be coincidental. But the real catalyst for what happened next was surprisingly simple: a cropped Instagram photo. In early 2025, Troye posted what appeared to be a throwback photo with Chappell Roan, but fans immediately noticed that someone had been cropped out of the image. Given the context and timing, speculation ran wild that Connor had been removed from the original photo. When fans called out the cropping, Troye claimed in the comments that he'd found the image online already cropped and wasn't responsible for editing Connor out. But damage was done, and the internet was buzzing with theories about why Connor might have been removed and whether there was lingering tension between the former friends. That's when Connor did something absolutely legendary. He posted his own Instagram story featuring what appeared to be the other half of the same photo, showing himself with Chappell Roan, and captioned it simply, "My good side." The internet collectively lost its mind because that caption wasn't just a funny response to being cropped out of Troye's photo. It was a direct reference to Troye's song, "The Good Side," essentially confirming what fans had suspected for years. The caption felt like Connor's way of saying, "Yes, that song was about us. And yes, I know you all figured it out." It was subtle enough to maintain some privacy, but obvious enough that anyone familiar with the Tronnor lore would immediately understand the reference. This single Instagram caption confirmed years of fan theories and reignited interest in their entire relationship timeline. But Connor wasn't done. The response to his Instagram post was so intense that he decided to address the situation head-on with a YouTube video titled "My Good Side." This wasn't just any response video. This was Connor Franta officially confirming one of YouTube's biggest relationship mysteries after nearly a decade of silence. In the video, Connor approached the topic with the maturity and thoughtfulness that his audience has come to expect. He acknowledged how surreal it felt to be discussing a relationship from 10 years ago and expressed genuine surprise that people still cared so deeply about this chapter of his life. But most importantly, he confirmed what fans had always believed. He and Troye had been in a romantic relationship for approximately 2 years during the height of their YouTube collaboration period. Connor's confirmation wasn't just about setting the record straight. He used the opportunity to share how he and Troye had reconnected in recent years, describing a chance encounter at an event that led to their first real conversation in years. According to Connor, this meeting was healing for both of them, allowing them to interact as the mature adults they'd become rather than the young creators they'd been during their relationship. What made Connor's video especially powerful was his commentary on "The Good Side" and its lyrics. He acknowledged that the song represented Troye's perspective on their breakup, but clarified that it didn't necessarily reflect his own experience. Connor explained that he felt like he was living his own good side now, surrounded by love, pursuing his passions, and feeling genuinely fulfilled in his current life. The most emotional moment of the video came at the end, when Connor addressed Troye directly, saying he was proud of everything Troye had accomplished. This wasn't just a casual compliment, it was a direct reference to the lyrics of The Good Side, where Troye sings about someday being able to say he's proud of his former partner's achievements. This moment created what fans are calling a La La Land moment, a beautiful, cinematic conclusion to a love story that had been left unfinished for years. The fact that Connor chose to echo those specific lyrics felt intentional and deeply meaningful, suggesting that despite their relationship ending, there was genuine love and respect that had endured. The internet's reaction has been absolutely incredible to witness. Longtime fans are describing feelings of vindication after years of being told their theories were just wishful thinking. Many are sharing how much the Tronnor era meant to them as young LGBTQ plus people, seeing representation that felt authentic and hopeful. Comments on Connor's video range from emotional to ecstatic, with fans expressing everything from tears of joy to feelings of closure they never expected to receive. Many are sharing personal stories about how Connor and Troye's content helped them during difficult periods of their own lives, and how this confirmation feels like a gift to their younger selves who invested so much emotion in this relationship. What's particularly beautiful about this entire situation is how both Connor and Troye have handled it with such grace and maturity. There's no drama, no bitterness, no attempts to capitalize on nostalgia for views or attention. Instead, we're seeing two people who clearly care about each other despite their romantic relationship ending, and who are comfortable enough with their past to acknowledge it publicly. This whole situation also highlights how much YouTube culture has evolved since 2014. Back then, coming out videos were major events, and LGBTQ plus creators faced significantly more scrutiny and pressure about their personal lives. The fact that Connor felt comfortable discussing this relationship now speaks to both his personal growth and the broader cultural shifts that have made the platform safer for authentic expression. The timing of this confirmation is also fascinating when you consider where both creators are in their lives now. Connor has built a successful business empire, written books, and seems genuinely content with his life direction. Troye has become a global pop star with multiple successful albums and a thriving career. They're both in positions where they can address their past without it defining their present or future. For longtime fans, this confirmation represents more than just celebrity gossip. It validates years of emotional investment and proves that sometimes fan intuition is incredibly accurate. The Tronnor shippers weren't just creating fantasy scenarios. They were recognizing genuine connection and love, even when the people involved weren't ready to confirm it publicly. The broader implications of this story are also worth considering. During the 2014-2016 period, LGBTQ plus representation on YouTube was still relatively limited, and seeing two successful, out gay creators who seemed genuinely happy together was incredibly meaningful for young viewers figuring out their own identities. Knowing that this representation was authentic makes it even more powerful in retrospect. What's also remarkable is how this story demonstrates the evolution of both creators as public figures. The Connor and Troye of 2014 were young people navigating fame, sexuality, and relationships under intense public scrutiny. The Connor and Troye of 2025 are established adults who can discuss their past with wisdom and perspective that comes from personal growth and life experience. The fan reaction videos and social media posts following Connor's confirmation have been absolutely heartwarming to watch. You can see people processing decades of emotion in real time, finally getting answers to questions they'd carried since their teenage years. Many are describing it as healing, not just for the closure it provides, but for the way it validates their younger selves, who found meaning and hope in this relationship. Some fans have pointed out that this confirmation also adds new layers of meaning to both creators' subsequent work. Connor's content about love, relationships, and personal growth takes on additional depth when viewed through the lens of this significant relationship. Similarly, Troye's music, particularly his more personal tracks, can now be understood with fuller context about his experiences with love and loss. The timing of Connor's video also feels perfect from a narrative standpoint. Both creators have established themselves independently, found success on their own terms, and reached a level of personal maturity that allows them to discuss their past without it overshadowing their present. This isn't a desperate grab for relevance. It's a thoughtful response to genuine fan curiosity from someone secure enough in his current life to be honest about his past. What strikes me most about Connor's approach to this confirmation is how he managed to satisfy fan curiosity while maintaining appropriate boundaries. He confirmed the relationship without providing unnecessary details, acknowledged the impact of Troy's songs without making it all about himself, and demonstrated genuine care for Troye as a person without suggesting any desire to rekindle their romantic connection. The cultural impact of this confirmation extends beyond just YouTube or fan communities. For many LGBTQ individuals who came of age during the Tronnor era, this relationship represented possibility and hope during a time when mainstream representation was still limited. Having that representation confirmed as authentic and seeing both people thriving in their current lives provides a kind of full-circle moment that's rare in celebrity culture. Industry observers are also noting how this situation demonstrates the unique relationship between creators and their audiences on platforms like YouTube. The level of investment fans had in Connor and Troye's relationship and the emotional payoff of getting confirmation years later shows how deeply personal these parasocial relationships can become and how meaningful creator authenticity really is to audiences. Looking at the broader YouTube landscape, this story also serves as a reminder of how much the platform has changed since its early days. The 2014-2016 era that Connor and Troye inhabited was characterized by smaller, more intimate creator communities where personal relationships often played out in public view. Today's YouTube is more professionalized and compartmentalized, making the kind of authentic relationship content that originally drew fans to Tronnor much rarer. The response from other creators who were part of that original YouTube community has been equally touching. Many have shared their own memories of Connor and Troye during that period, confirming what fans always suspected about their obvious connection and happiness together. These testimonials add additional validation to fan theories and provide context about how their relationship was perceived by people who actually knew them during that time. Perhaps most importantly, this entire situation has sparked broader conversations about privacy, speculation, and the ethics of shipping real people. While the outcome in this case has been positive, with both parties comfortable discussing their past, it's also prompted reflection on how fan communities can support creators without crossing boundaries or making assumptions about their personal lives. Connor's decision to address this topic also demonstrates remarkable emotional intelligence. He could have easily ignored the speculation or deflected questions indefinitely. Instead, he chose to provide closure for fans who had invested emotionally in his story, while setting clear boundaries about what he's comfortable sharing and what remains private. The production quality and thoughtfulness of Connor's response video also reflects his growth as a content creator. This wasn't a hastily made reaction to internet pressure. It was a carefully crafted piece of content that addressed fan curiosity while maintaining his artistic integrity and personal boundaries. The video serves as both confession and masterclass in how to handle sensitive personal topics in the public eye. For Troye, this confirmation adds new context to his musical evolution and artistic journey. Songs that fans had interpreted as being about Connor can now be understood with confirmed accuracy, providing deeper appreciation for his vulnerability and honesty as a songwriter. It also demonstrates his maturity in creating art that processed his personal experiences without exploiting them for drama or attention. The global reaction to this confirmation has been overwhelmingly positive, with fans expressing gratitude for finally getting answers and appreciation for the mature way both creators have handled the situation. Many are describing it as the best possible outcome for a story that could have easily become messy or dramatic. As we look at the story's conclusion, it's impossible not to appreciate how it represents the best aspects of YouTube culture and creator authenticity. Two young people shared their genuine selves with the world, including their love for each other. And even when that relationship ended, they maintained enough respect and care to eventually provide closure for the community that had supported them. The Tronnor confirmation of 2025 isn't just about solving a years-old mystery. It's about the power of authentic storytelling, the importance of LGBTQ plus representation, and the beautiful possibility that sometimes real life can provide the closure and healing that fiction rarely manages to achieve. Connor Franta and Troye Sivan gave us a love story that inspired millions, and now they've given us an ending that proves sometimes the best stories are the ones that teach us about growth, forgiveness, and the enduring power of genuine connection. In a world where celebrity relationships often end in drama and public feuds, Connor and Troye have shown us what mature, respectful closure looks like. They've provided their fans with the answers they've been seeking, while demonstrating that it's possible to honor your past while embracing your present. And honestly, that might be the most beautiful part of this entire story.